With this week's Commonwealth Summit in Sri Lanka overshadowed by allegations of war crimes, President Rajapaksa has told this programme he's not concerned by the claims. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent Jonathan Miller caught up with the President in Colombo and managed to ask him a couple of questions.
Colombo's had a makeover. The face of the city polished, spruced up and readied for the red carpet rollout. And there's one face that dominates. The smiling, mustachioed, munificent visage of Mahinda Rajapaksa, the president. Oh, and that of his brother Gotabaya, Sri Lanka's unelected defence secretary. Together they won the war, but at a terrible price, and their critics say they've now lost the peace by creating a police state. Today, the host with the most opened the Commonwealth Business Forum and declared his country open for business.
President Rajapaksa, Channel 4. Could I have a quick word with you, sir? How do you do?
We will be meeting again.
Can I ask you, sir, all these accusations that are against you about war crimes?
Sometimes,
Are you concerned about this, sir?
I'm not concerned about anything.
You're not concerned. Can I meet you later, sir, please?
Why don't you meet?
He said he would meet us. We are now in contact with the presidency to arrange this. This is what he's not worried about. The end of the 30-year war in 2009, when up to 40,000 civilians were killed in a matter of weeks. Since then, Sri Lanka has remained plagued by allegations of widespread torture and disappearance. We crossed town, tailed as ever by mustachioed state intelligence. There's a news conference going on, an emboldened opposition testing the government's commitment to Commonwealth values like democracy. They're wielding the Commonwealth Charter.
And he's been accused of a war criminal.
Journalists have to do what they're told here. Those who don't are killed or disappeared. If they're lucky, they flee into exile.
Any criticism, especially if it involves the Rajapaksa family, is all expunged or deleted from all broadcasts.
In the run-up to the Commonwealth Summit, there's been a brutal crackdown on freedom of expression, and there are fears of reprisals once the show's over.
If they think that I'm being a traitor because I'm speaking against disappearances, against torture and against human rights violations, if they think that I am a traitor, I am proud to be a traitor.
The Rajapaksa government aggressively pursues its detractors. This woman, a human rights activist, received death threats live on air on state radio last week.
We who are campaigning and we who are campaigning for human rights, have been campaigning for the establishment of rule of law, campaigning for issues of accountability and reconciliation, is labelled as traitors. Now they even call me a prostitute. Very openly in the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. It has gone beyond abusing. They are proposing ways and means of eliminating human rights defenders. And the callers who viewed these ideas were not stopped by the chairperson of the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
So callers calling into a radio show were saying that you should be killed?
Killed. And they gave several ideas of as to how to eliminate me and other human rights defenders. And the callers were telling that they should not leave any evidence, that I should meet with an accident.
Some have described Mahinda Rajapaksa's hosting of this prestigious Commonwealth Summit as his coronation. In the week-long window in which the international media are allowed in, people are taking huge risks. What happens to them when the media and the heads of government have packed up and gone will be the true test of this government's true commitment to Commonwealth values. Jonathan Miller, Channel 4 News, Colombo.
Well, earlier I spoke to Jonathan. I began by asking him a little bit more about the kind of reception he and the Channel 4 team have been getting in Sri Lanka.
Well, we have, as I reported there, been followed just about everywhere we've gone, and there have been protests on some occasions too, including outside our hotel. And I should just show you this. This is the main national daily newspaper here, the Daily News. It's a state-owned paper, and as you can see, the top banner headline is Channel 4 met by protesters. Now, I show you this not because I take any great pleasure in becoming part of the news story here, or indeed my team, but because there is an irony in all of this. The fact that we have persistently reported so much about what has gone on in Sri Lanka, not only at the end of the war, but since then, about human rights, means that journalists are asking us questions. It has allowed them to ask questions, in fact, which they haven't been able to ask at all in the last few years.
But you must be concerned about the welfare of these people who are speaking to you.
Yes, people are putting themselves at enormous risk to speak to us, and indeed just to speak out openly about some of these issues. The woman that you saw at the end of my piece there is taking an enormous risk doing what she's doing, given the fact that she's already had death threats. These are not just idle threats and intimidatory statements. They are genuine, and people do die here. Now, the whole point of this, though, is that these people are wanting to test these so-called Commonwealth values. They are contained in the Charter, which was signed by the Queen earlier this year. They are about democracy and respect for human rights, about good governance and rule of law, about the independence of the judiciary and freedom of expression. These are things that are absolutely central to the Commonwealth, but which are trampled by the government of Sri Lanka. So the people of Sri Lanka want to take this occasion and take this opportunity to make sure that this government is at least asked to live up to the principles which it says it's committed to.
Jonathan, thank you very much.